Camp Massatators in the morning, and as you can see, it actually got chilly out here. We were zipped up in our sleeping bags. I've got my puffy out. So yeah, a little bit of a chilly morning this morning. Since we are short on food just a little bit due to storm and mud delays, we're actually going to be jumping off trail up here. There is some sort of a deli that's a mile off trail that apparently has coffee and sandwiches, so I'm excited for that. We just need to grab another dinner and a couple of supplemental snacks, and we're going to push on to Killington, where we have a package waiting for us, and then our next stop will be Hanover, where we might see somewhere in that vicinity trying to get a shower and whatnot. Last forecast I saw for today is that it is going to be sunny-ish, but I am very mistrustful of forecasts at this point, especially up in this area. Also, Tater's back there is quite cross at me because I didn't mention in the last video that we found what appears to be moose poop a day or so ago, but no moose. Man, at this rate, I'm gonna have to get my sunglasses out, which just seems asking to be nailed by another storm, really. Plus side of that storm is it really cleared out the smoke. And today on Things Taters Didn't Know Was a Thing, nip slips.
That is not a thing.
Internet? So we're just trying to hitchhike to save a little time getting into the store and back. And every time we have to do this, I'm reminded like just how wimpy my arms have become over the last year of hiking because I can't hold my arm out for, 10 minutes at a time. For the record, I like all those things. Never mind the hostile hikers. What about those fancy-dancy hikers who are now packing a corkscrew because they're tired of nearly putting tent stakes through their hands? Okay, that was an excellent stop. Breakfast and wine. What more could you want? It is such a pretty day out here. I'm mistrustful because I'm sure that means there's got to be like a tornado coming. Oh, Blondie. Whoa. You're going to get your ass run over. Tater's up there is acting all smug. She totally forced a second coffee, a third breakfast item on me. So now I'm running a little slow. So, as revenge, she's trying to pee up there, but can't because you all are watching. Blondie! The internet says hello. And now, internet, we are going on like selfie mode. Hi, Taters! How you doing, Taters? It is just disgustingly pleasant today, but as with many of my relationships, I've been hurt enough times where I'm just mistrustful of where things are going to go in the near term. So today is all about up and over Killington, hopefully, which is a 4K peak or so. So we're doing a lot of steep up here. But fortunately, after 2 breakfast sandwiches, a breakfast burrito, and 2 cups of coffee, after the normal breakfast and coffee, I'm feeling motivated. And we have just a beautiful day for the moment. So I managed to overcome Blondie's attempts to slow me down with lots of breakfast and extra coffee. And then I ran into my other nemesis, people to talk to along the trail. Today is just one of those joyously, disgustingly pleasant days where it's amazing to be out hiking, and I can only assume that's going to come back and bite me somehow. Taters has so little faith. I totally made it across that without even taking my shoes off. So just so you don't think we're completely out here in the middle of nowhere, we are crossing a ton of roads. I just usually only take video in spots where I go, oh, hey, that's really pretty. So, okay, so this is the Governor Clevent shelter, which is right before we start the climb proper. Damn it, here I am bopping my way up Killington, having a grand old time. And then all of a sudden the climb stops. It's like, oh man, I wanted to keep going. Uphill's my favorite. That nice gradual uphill that's not covered in mud and running water is like the best ever. Okay, fortunately the last point to Blue Blaze, the summit itself, has more fun climbing. Okay, now this is what I'm talking about. This gets the official masochist, this doesn't totally suck seal of approval. Okay, second highest peak in Vermont, and it is cold, but it's not raining.
Yeah, at least it's sunny. It's really pretty up here. I actually think it's inspired me to come up with some poetry.
Usually that only happens to me in the bathroom.
Oh, Green Mountains of Vermont.
And down we go, down the Blue Blaze, and Blondie is now on a no poetry readings timeout. Oh, best shape of my life. My knees would like to disagree. Oh.
After coming down Killington, we were looking for a tent site, and there weren't many options. Most of the spots around here had lots of roots and things in them, so we ended up at the Churchill Scott shelter. And for once, it's not super crowded. There's only one other person in the shelter itself. So we got this open tent platform. Home sweet home for the night.
So yeah, as you can see, the cold weather has continued. We've actually dipped down into the high 40s a couple of times, which is nice because you can get into the sleeping bag, right? But then we have to get up in the morning and it's cold. So as far as today, we are actually going to leave the long trail behind. So on the plus side, there's going to be less people on the trail. On the downside, technically, you have to stay at shelters after this, but we'll see. Unfortunately, this is also the point where the trail stops going north because we can make it to Canada if we continued north, and now it heads east. But that heads towards New Hampshire and mountains. So you can see the shelter in the background, so we weren't quite as remote as I normally like, but we needed a spot. It was dark, and Blondie was ready to start drinking wine, so... And of course, the main benefit of staying at a shelter, a fancy privy. Ha! No more long trail. Bye, long trail. Hello, AT crowds. Oh. Okay, so here's our resupply. And sadly, I think I'm not getting any breakfast. And resupply box time. So much yumminess. So little cheese.
I got new shoes. They're all bouncy and springy. Oh, it feels so good.
And I hope she enjoys it because the rain is going to start in a couple hours and we're going to be in mud up to our chins.
Get back. Want something to eat?
Yes.
Eggs and sausage?
We got hikers coming out our ears. Northbound, southbound, long trail. Those weird ECT people. Oh wait, that's me. So that was a really awesome little bit of trail magic. That group is basically the alternative to the ATC. And while the ATC has stoked some controversy by not being pro-hiking the AT with everything that's going on, the Appalachian Long Distance Hiking Club has always been pro-hiker. And they actually have a completion certificate and a patch I can get if I register with them, assuming I make Katahdin. Also, I got more coffee, which was such a relief after the big disappointment that was that pub where we showed up in the one time of day when they were not serving any food. So Blondie and I have been having a little bit of a downer morning because the forecast is we're going to get nailed, and those last couple of storms were so rough. We're really not looking forward to that again. Like, we were even looking at that pub had rooms for $60, and a part of us was tempted to just avoid getting soaked yet again. Of course, the problem is every day not hiking is one day that we lose, since she only has about 2 weeks left out here. Plus, if I want to make Cap Gaspe, I need to keep moving. So I'm on a little bit more of a time pressure than people who are just going to Katahdin. So looking at the hiker register at the Trail Magic thing, they had about 10 people this morning. They said it was pretty slow. They'd been there a couple of days before, and they said one day they had 25, then the other day they had 40 some. So lots of people around. We're now under 500 miles from Katahdin, so we're starting to see more southbounders. Once again, Blondie's just kind of meh. Check that out. Glad we're not up there today. Much better being there yesterday. So it is a little after 3. We've done 10 some miles so far. Our resupply plus that Trail Magic experience, opportunity I should say, obviously took some time. So far the weather's held. It's actually quite pleasant. It's cool. The wind is going. But we are bracing for whenever the inevitable torrent is going to release. So far there's a flash flood warning, but last I checked there was not a severe thunderstorm warning or something like that. So we will see. Neither of us is really that excited about getting nailed by another super heavy storm after the last week or two. So if it really comes in, we may try and dive into a tent site somewhere. Of course, there's no hiker wine or Firefly anymore. So what the hell are we going to do just sitting around? Rest? Sleep? What sort of people do that? Psh. And as promised, the rain has started. $60 and I could be sitting next to a fireplace inside, eating at an Irish pub, which I assume has copious amounts of beer. Boo.
It's like a hot tub, minus the hot.
I guess I could fit in there, but fur.
What the hell, AT? I feel like this is cheating, you know, like New York. Oh.
Whoa.
And that's how Taters died and forgot her hiking poles. Feels like New York would have just made us do that move. You know, they would have blazed straight up it. Okay, so at least so far, rain got rather intense for a little while. And it's kind of gone to off and on drizzle. Can't quite get rid of the rain layers. I'm perfectly happy if it sticks to this. No sign of the thunderstorms. Spoke too soon. More rain and thunder. Okay, so it's 7 o'clock. The rain's kind of kicked in. Thunder went away. It's just a bummer with the mud and the wet and everything. So we're just gonna stop here. We were gonna do another 3 miles, but yeah.
Home sweet home.
Now she's happy. So we actually went the extra mile and tried to dry pitch the tent, and it was basically the same results as last time. Freaking Vermont! Okay, so it looks like we survived another storm. Unfortunately, that means, you know, stuff's going to be wet, so for the next day we're going to be trying to dry stuff out. Forecast calls for potentially some more drizzle, but no more big storms in the immediate future, hopefully. So we have about 30 more miles to Hanover, which is going to be our next resupply, which is good because we have about one more meal, one more dinner anyway. Plenty of snacks. Plan is just, rain stopped and all the mosquitoes came out. Yeehaw. Plan today is just get as far as we can. Fortunately, the trail, once we crossed Killington, actually once we started climbing up Killington, seemed to get a little better as far as mud. So I'm hoping maybe that sticks around, but we'll see. On the plus side, water sources are not going to be a problem for a little while. Cool thing about Hanover is that is also the border into New Hampshire, and I think the whites start about 30-40 miles after that. No rain for the moment, but as I've told Blondie, I'm not putting any money down on the forecast being clear. Now, don't get me wrong, I really have enjoyed the more wildernessy terrain, but I have found the rain has left me getting kind of grumbly every time my phone feels the need to play the song, "Have You Ever Seen the Rain? Only happy when it rains," you know, stuff like that. So we're currently hanging out waiting for our stuff to dry now that we found some uninterrupted sunlight. It's the editor. Have I mentioned end of the day is the best time of the day to be hiking? A little before 8 o'clock right now. Okay, filled up with water for the night. Now we're just looking for a camp.
Well, we got a late start out of camp due to the rainy morning, but things cleared up shortly after we got on the trail. We were able to dry most of our stuff out and ended up having a great hiking day. So we ended up doing about 18 miles. We've been going through some fields and what looks like various private land plots, but we eventually found an old site next to an old telephone pole or something. Home sweet home for the night.
Good morning from Camp Massatators. And it is Tuesday, so you know what that means. Shaping up to be a gorgeous day today. Both Matt and I have been really enjoying the non-rainy days in Vermont. So ordinarily this would be a really big, great hiking day for us, but we are headed into town. We have about 13 miles into Hanover, so it'll be a little bit of a shorter day today. But on the plus side, looks like there are lots of food options in Hanover, and lots of food options tends to make for a happy Matt. Good morning, Matt. I think the awkward phase of your hair is over. Now you have a fully functional and super awesome looking ponytail.
I've been in an awkward phase for 40 some years at this point. See, what you don't see is often Blondie actually wakes up in a pretty bad mood. Like I'm like, yay, it's coffee time. You're like, so then it's up to me to try and just like cheer her up. And I just go, honey, today I will totally masticate her all over the
Yay!
So we've seen tubing like this in a couple of places, and I can't for the life of me figure out what it's doing. Yeah, I really have no idea here. We want people to think we're actual hikers, not these lollygaggers. Just trying to take some nice pretty video. Somebody's trying to pull their pants down in the background.
Headed into the town of West Hartford, and Masochist found a chair to sit in, along with some light refreshments, trail magic, presumably courtesy of these nice guys.
This is the Olympic sport of Blondie crossing a stream with an unstable log.
Glad you're ready to document this, so you got my big fall on video.
So we'll be quiet so she's able to concentrate. And we'll try and avoid shouting out anything like, hey Blondie, quokkas are really cute. Because that might make her fall. Oh no, she's laughing. Oh, they fling their babies at predators for, oh man. So I've been having Achilles pain in my left foot for a little while. But finally I seem to have turned the corner on that. I've been trying whatever combination of exercises, stretches, etc. And the problem with the Achilles is you can't really push through it if it's getting worse. And even once you figure out how to make it better, it takes a long damn time to heal. I had an issue with it at mile 500 on the PCT, and that scared me. That was the closest I ever thought to thinking I'd have to quit, which really upset me because at 500 miles, you're feeling like, okay, I'm finally a through hiker. I'm doing this. And then to struggle to walk every day was a hard thing. Thought I was doing so good also. I made it through all of Florida and everything without having the issue. But I think what happened is as I started to do, bigger gain days, I tend to have tightness issues around my legs anyway. Stretching is really painful for me. And I think I just had a little too much and didn't stretch enough sometime and managed to torque it. And of course, once I had it coming through Vermont in the mud, that's part of the reason why we slowed down. Because sliding around a few times, I did bad things to the injury. Speaking of mud,
That was very true. They have literally everything in that store except for apparently socks and Matt's size. Yeah, I had to get directions like 3 times before I could find the camp fuel. So Matt's saying I'm just in a bad mood, but I think this is like the worst mile of the entire AT. You're literally just on the side of a highway for like 2 miles.
okay, we were all excited because there was a bridge icon. And we figured like big, massive bridge, like there wasn't Harper's Ferry or anything else. And instead, this. Yay.
I liked the bridges before this.
Suddenly I'm liking college towns more. I think we're standing out just a bit.
Well, Hanover was not our favorite trail town, not really hiker friendly, but we were able to get a lot of really good food, some good beer, got cleaned up, laundry done, and we're resting up before getting into the New Hampshire section of trail tomorrow. Home sweet home for the night.